Hey guys, it is Mark Coe for 22nd of May. I want to go over a few markets here and talk about a great note I received from a subscriber who was telling me their progress they've made. They've been in the room for a while, but the best part and the part that I wanted to share with you guys as we get to this end of May and approach Memorial Day here in the U.S. The story was so common about how he was able to do it, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But I want to tell you first off what the great part was. He's not one of these guys that has this monster account. He had I think it was a $5,600 account and made 5,000 in profit, or it was a $5,000 account and made 5,600 in profit. I can't remember the specifics without looking at it. But what it shows you is the ability on single lot or half lot or one contracts or minis to actually realize that P&L. And the great thing that he's been conversing with me is the ability to stick to it, the belief in the approach, understanding that you're going to have stop out, you're going to have trades that don't go your way, but the ability to come back in and understand that it's your risk, the smaller amount you're risking versus the upside of your reward, right? And so it was such a great story, and he's done this multiple months over and over, and he keeps taking the money out and keeps trading this moderately sized account, and then he's done really well with it. So I wanted to give kudos to Jason, but also to show you what some of that looks like. Now, just in all fairness, I did want to offer one more opportunity. I'm going to phase out the $500 annual subscription price. So toward the end of the month, or at the end of the month, we'll no longer offer that $500 12-month pricing. We will continue to offer the $149 monthly rate. So you can see it's quite a steep discount for the 12-month pricing. So I just wanted to make certain everybody's aware of that. Now let's talk markets. Let's look at what went on today. I'm just looking at Tuesday, May 22nd. E-minis. So E-minis did not come in with a bias. They developed a bias later on, which was sell side. But what E-minis did have, and what I did point out in the room, was this 2741. Now let me show you where that comes from. I always talk about this. How do you want to be positioned? How do you get positioned? And which direction? Well, there was no question in the E-minis what the direction was and the level. As I said, you can see here the bias develops closer to 2734. But let me show you top edge best pricing of the day. Again, this has been the resistance level. Sorry, that's not the correct annotation I want. It's been best pricing for the last couple days, 2741. This is where the level came from, right? This was the market reaction off of that level. Hence why I was using it for the last several days. Again, a very similar reaction. Now let me show it to you a little quicker because this became a really nice rotation. This was a 20-point S&P $1,000 per contract rotation. So when you think about Jason taking a $5,000 account to $10,000, look how it's able to happen, right? That's what you have to realize. Here's your 2741. Again, the level that's on your screen for days. It didn't just pop up here today. Here's the timing tool I use, which the people in the room are able to see it on a faster version. This is a 30-minute. So here's your sell count. This means your timing tool to go ahead and look for that sell. There is your trade at the 9:30 open into what? Into the level. So you have bias, direction, sell side, and entry into that level. That gives you, again, it's a 20-point rotation. And the idea is not, can I take tick for tick, but it's saying there's $1,000 of movement there. What can I grab out of it, right? So think about that over time, over the course of the month and over the year. Let's take a look at euro dollar. Euro dollar got a pretty decent move in early Europe, and then in the U.S. it was a little quieter, but one decent move in the U.S. And I'm going to show you the timing tool capturing that move. Now this is early U.S., so this is about 7:30. Again, same signal as euro, which is sell side indication down here at 7 o'clock. There's your tick higher into early U.S. right at that 1825 level. Now, it wasn't massive, but it was about 50 ticks. Again, 50 ticks on a standard lot is what? You do the math. It's about $500. And it's understanding there's $500 rotation there in a quiet market. What can you grab out of a 50 tick rotation? Maybe your position size is not a standard. Maybe it's a micro. Whatever it is, the point is repeatable. Crude oil. Now, crude oil happened to be where I traded the shorter term today, and I'll show you crude oil and what I was able to grab out of crude oil. Now, in all fairness, I talked about this yesterday. Crude had the exact same bias yesterday. The bias was sell side yesterday. The level, and I just want to show you where the level was yesterday. Here was the top edge of that level yesterday. This was the top edge coming into yesterday. I stopped out of this trade. I lost money yesterday. You want to see me make it back? I'll show you where it was made back. Top edge, okay? So I was using 72.80 resistance. Again, this comes from the U.S. Open report. That's what I'm referencing. 72.80 resistance with a sell bias. So here's my trade into the bias, which allows me short trade to capture the bulk of, not tick for tick, but the bulk of that move, right? So here's my crude oil, and it's just intraday stuff. Right, there's my P&L on my crude oil, just intraday. It looks like it from the standpoint of, can you get positioned in a move? Can you contain your risk so that when you're wrong? Because yesterday I was wrong. My bias was not correct, but my losses were smaller than what you were able to put up today. And that's the whole point of the strategy, and that's what Jason's been able to do and do repeatably. So really congratulations to him. He's been involved for a while, but I did want to point out and show you guys what it looks like in real time. Understand that those levels are there, the bias are there, and when they're wrong, you're going to give up some ticks. It's not like you're not, but understand what it looks like when you're correct. So I know we have a longer weekend coming up here in the U.S. Hopefully, we'll still see some decent activity into that. But, like I said, if you do want to take part, I would grab hold of it now just because this is the end of the $500 offering. So cheers to you guys, and we'll chat with you soon.